Hello, everybody. Welcome to our very first MST Live Facebook Live broadcast. I'm Dr. Leila Javidi, and I really hope that today this goes well. Just so you know, this is our very first Facebook Live event. This is my first Facebook Live thing ever. So if I'm doing anything strange, just let me know. If you're out there, give me a thumbs up. Anybody there? I see some thumbs up. They're exploding in my face, but not so many, but. So today our broadcast is really mostly going to touch on your ERAS. I mean, most of you know that February 21st is the deadline at 9 p.m. to get your ERAS rank list certified in there. So don't forget that date. And of course, the next following dates are match week is March 12th, and then match day, I think, is March 16th. So you guys, I'm sure, are so ready to be done with this, but you're almost there. Just hang in there. So today we had a lot of questions behind the scenes that we're going to focus on today, but I want you to know that I'm here. Hey, David, I see I rock. I don't know. I do kind of, but I don't know. Anyway, I just wanted to let you know you guys can ask any questions you want down here. And if you are asking them live during the presentation, I will answer them. And if you don't have anything now and you think of something later, feel free to message us. Actually, in the description of this post, there's actually an email address. It's hq@medschooltutors.com, and you can always feel free to message us or call us at the office, 212-327-0098, and it's all in the description. So today, basically, I wanted to introduce myself. So again, I'm Dr. Leila Javidi. You can call me Leila. Hey, Eli. So I basically am a second-year family medicine resident at Mount Carmel. It is a community program in Columbus, Ohio. Go Bucks. I have been working for MST for many years, and I have been working not just with tutoring, but with admissions and residency counseling for students all over the world. And I get tons of questions about USMLE, rank list, all these things. And these are some of the questions that I thought were really important to get to. I know you guys are having such a difficult time right now kind of figuring things out, and it's been a long season. So I thought maybe I would answer some of the more simple questions, like starting out before getting into the real heavy stuff, which there are some heavy things, believe it or not, to talk about when it comes to the rank list. But any questions or comments before I get kicked out, get things started? I guess I don't see any likes or anything right now floating in my face, so I'm gonna just keep going. Oh, I see a question right away. Hi, Thomas. What's your take on away rotations and externships for matching? So I think that's a really great question. I would say that this is one that I've had a little bit of a disagreement with different people. Basically, everybody has something different to say about it. If you're already kind of in your match situation, you probably have already done this and this answer doesn't really apply to you, like if you're already setting up your rank list. But if you haven't yet, if you're a third year, I would say that you have everything to gain as well as everything to lose from away rotations. So if you're a person that's really confident in who you are and what you have to give, and you're not necessarily awesome on paper, an away rotation can really elevate your status. If you are a person that might be a little bit shy or off-putting, hopefully you know yourself by now, that maybe ask some friends, am I off-putting? Then maybe don't do away rotations all the time, because you might piss off the wrong people. Now, I know that sounds harsh, but to be honest, we've had some rotators at our program that they might be amazing candidates, but if you're not ready to give your all, you need to make sure that you don't go on an away rotation as an audition. But if you are ready to give your all and you want to show this program who you are and you have a lot to offer, I think they're beneficial. I hope that answers your question, Thomas. And I actually see one of my former classmates just logged in, Narissa. Hi there. Anyway, so again, today though, we're going to be focusing on how to make this rank list. So one of the biggest questions that I get that's kind of a simple question is, do I tell my first choice that they're my first choice? And this always kind of reminds me of the dating scene, like Bumble or Tinder or something like that. Not on it anymore, sorry. But basically, what I come to see is that people are worried about playing hard to get, or should I be too forthright with what I really want and tell these programs that they're my first choice. But I think that in this case, you should do that. I think that this is not an area to play games with, and you should just come out and tell the program that, hey, you know, I really thank you for this opportunity to interview you. X and X program made such a huge, you know, impact on me when I interviewed there, and I really would like to, you know, let you know that I'm not only going to rank you highly, but right now you're my #1 choice. And you can send this in a email if you're already kind of in this process. It's kind of getting late to send a handwritten letter, but I actually sent handwritten note cards to the program director of my first choice. And I also sent handwritten thank you letters to those people too. Thanks, Ellen. I see your comment. I like this feedback. I need a little bit of it. So it's kind of weird talking to nobody, but I know I'm talking to people, but it just feels like I'm talking to nobody. I have this weird pen, but you know, that's all I have. And I have foreign currency. What else do you need when you're doing a live broadcast? Sugar-free Red Bull. That's the other thing you need. So anyway, so basically, I think that you should tell people that you are planning on ranking them #1. And I think that there's nobody that's going to say, oh, you know, she said she's ranking us #1. Like, is she desperate? Like, that's not really how it goes in this situation. So unlike when you're playing hard to get in the dating scene, it's okay to come out there and say, you know, you're not my #1. And Narissa agrees with me, and I respect that, girl, so there you go. How are you doing out there? So anyway, the next kind of big question that people ask or have a difficult time with is they interview at really, I don't know, shady programs. Sometimes they exist. We don't like to really talk about it, but there are some programs where the people are just kind of and the practices are kind of and you're like, I really can't even imagine ranking here. Like, I can't imagine what my life would be like if I was actually at this program. And the question I get is, should I rank a program that I dislike? Like, should I even rank them, even if it's last? This really, I think, depends on how long your list of interviews was and how willing you are to not match. At the end of the day, not ranking a program that you interviewed with is an opportunity that you do not match, right? So one extra program on the list might make the difference between matching and not matching. If you are an incredible applicant, like if you're somebody who got 1 million interviews and you're like at the top of your scores and the top of your class, and you know you have a great interview face, maybe don't rank them on principle. But at the end of the day, I think it is better to be matched in a program that you really hate and be in a position of power in a residency program than to not be matched at all. What do I mean by that? If they always say it's easier to find a job when you have a job, and it's no different with residency programs. If you shouldn't match and you go on to the next ERAS cycle unmatched, it sort of looks strange to some people. It's not the end of the world for everybody, but you kind of look like, well, why didn't she match the first time? Why didn't he match the first time? What's going on with that? So at the end of the day, if you really think that it's risky that you may not match at all, I absolutely would rank those programs on your list regardless. It seems terrible, but this is a really difficult industry that we've chosen. This is such a difficult thing. And the match is so crazy, the concept of it in general. In what other, there's not a single other profession that has, you know, oh, you know, no, you don't just get offered a job, or you, in every other profession, you get offered a job and then you accept it or you don't accept it. But this is the only one where we have to go through this complex process and algorithm of matching. And not matching can be devastating, and not just to your emotions, but to your future, you know, opportunities. Does anybody agree or disagree with me on this? I don't know. Does anybody else have any questions about this specific topic? I really think ranking all of them should be important. I see some anger. I don't know what that emoji. Oh, there's a flower. Okay, I see loves. I see some things. So, well, there's only one angry person, and please feel free to let me know why you're angry, and we can have a discussion. Because this is all, nothing that I say is written in stone. My actual stance is based on a lot of experience with working with admissions students, actually serving on admissions and recruitment committees for my own personal residency. And so this is just kind of what I think, and what most of us at MST that we've had these conversations believe. Eli agrees with me. Thanks, Eli. He says, absolutely right, gotta match no matter what. It really, it's tough. You're almost there though. You're almost there. So I guess the other question that I get, and I don't know why people think that this is some sort of game, like, if they, oh, this program, I think they're going to rank me higher, so I should rank them higher. The question that I get asked is, should I take into consideration where programs are going to rank me? By the way, David says, I think it's a wow emoji. There's no angry emoji. Oh, okay. Maybe I just don't have facial emoji recognition. Like, I really think that it's difficult in this day and age to really truly understand expressions based on emojis alone. I need to like work on that. So thanks, David. So basically the question again is, do I have to worry about where programs are ranking me in respect to where I rank them? And I don't know, you've heard them over and over again. When I say them, I mean like globally them, everybody say, don't worry about it. And I'm going to underscore that. You rank your programs based on where you want to go. Don't worry about who's going to rank you or whatever. The match ultimately favors the applicant in the end. What does that mean? Honestly, it's difficult to say because they don't release how they do their algorithms. But at the end of the day, you will not be penalized for ranking somebody higher. If some, like for example, if my number one choice doesn't rank me, I'm not going to be penalized by that number two choice because I didn't rank that number two choice higher. Like if that number two choice ranks me high and I rank them number two and my number one didn't rank me, that's going to work out in the end. So always rank what you want. Am I making any sense at all? I feel like some of these things are difficult to explain without a whiteboard. Maybe that's what we'll do next time. Write that down out there, whiteboard. I will have to learn how to write backwards because I'm pretty sure this is a mirror image and that would be really difficult to follow, especially with rank lists. So yeah, whiteboard, learn how to write backwards. All these things are good. Any other questions about that? Underscoring once again, do not rank based on where they are going to rank you. You rank based on what's important to you. And that brings me to the final point, which makes me need a sip of Red Bull. Hold on one second. Don't judge me. It's sugar-free. It's the same amount of caffeine as coffee. Calm down. I get a lot of judgment on the Red Bull. I get it delivered to my house via pallet. From Amazon Prime. This is not sponsored by Amazon Prime Pantry, but I do like it. Anyway, all right, med school tutors, you said whiteboard next time. Sounds good. Okay, so this is the biggest kind of question that I get that might kind of take us down a rabbit hole. And It's not really a specific question that you're asking me when you ask me. It's the question that I can tell you have deep inside your soul when you're asking specific questions. And really what the question is how do I take inventory of myself to know what's important to me when ranking programs? And this is like the actual biggest question that you might have, hands down, when it comes to ranking your residency rank list, making your residency rank list. So just to kind of lay out what the things that people generally take into consideration in general, I would say in no particular order, but I will get into a particular order later. Geographical location of a residency, the curriculum, the pay, the faculty, the field, and the prestige of the program. These are like, these are the main things that people think about. When I talk to students, what they the number one thing that they typically consciously or subconsciously are thinking about is the geographical location. Now, I want to preface this whole section by saying that none of these things, I'm not telling you that this is the order that they should be in. In fact, right now, I'm telling you that these are the things that I've noticed people subconsciously rank programs with. I would say the number one thing people think about is geographical location. And why do I say that? Because starting from the get-go when you're applying to programs, I'm sure there's many of you out there that didn't apply to programs in Alaska. Is there a medical school in Alaska? Give me some likes or something if anybody knows, or down. I feel terrible not knowing. I don't think there is, but basically, people aren't ranking. There's got to be a residency program in Alaska, right? Anyway, so I don't see any feedback on this, so I guess we'll just never know. There's just no way of knowing this answer. If only there was a way, like the internet, to like look up something. But anyway, so geographical location is typically the number one thing that people think about. Now that could mean, is this a place that has, you know, amenities that I want? Like, is the locate, you know, are there walking, you can tell I'm not a hiker. I'm like, are there walking bridges? I have no idea what to say when it comes to like hiking or walking. I'm like, is there scenic routes to places in this place? Is there shopping? Are there lots of young single people? Is it a place to raise a family? Is it near my family? Is it near my friends? Is it where I went to college? These are things that people typically think about when they think geographical location. I think that at the end of the day, this is an extremely important thing for you to think about. Chances are you're going to end up somewhere around that area. One of the reasons why it's important for geographical location to make a difference for you is because that's where you're going to make contacts in your industry. So if you are, you know, making all these industry contacts in Columbus, Ohio, but you plan to go out east in the end, you're not really going to be able to use that capital that you gained while you were there. That said, life is not over. You can move wherever you want, and you're going to be a commodity no matter where you go, because you're a physician and we are in demand right now. So especially family medicine, raise the roof. Yeah, I know it's kind of lame, but I love our specialty. Anyway, so what's the next thing that people often think about? Now, this is one that people think about but don't want to say that they're thinking about, and it's the prestige of the program. So a lot of people, when they're getting their interviews coming through, you know, on their emails, their ERAS emails, stuff like that, they get super excited when they see like a big name, whether it's a university program or an Ivy League or something like that. And oftentimes they really want to launch that program because it sounds pretty cool to be like, yeah, I did an interview at Harvard or whatever. It does sound pretty cool. I want to say though that the prestige of a program is important and equally not important, depending on what you're planning to do after residency. If you are a person that is going into internal medicine, planning on doing cardiology, then interventional cardiology, or you're a person going into radiology, planning on going to interventional radiology and seeking prestigious fellowships, then the name of the program that you end up matching into might end up mattering somewhat. But at the end of the day, I think that your overall application is a bigger deal than just the name of the program you graduated residency from. But that being said, the letters of recommendation that you get from a more prestigious institution might carry more weight from lesser known institutions. This is in the case of if you're planning on doing something very competitive after residency. Now then there's people like me, where I just want to live my life, I just want to be a family doctor, I just want to be a GP. I do not want to go on to do a prestigious fellowship at all. I mean, or any fellowship. I think that primary care is extremely important, and really that's all I want to do. So what's important to me is that I get the most hands-on experience as a family medicine doctor as I possibly can. And truth be told, this is better done in a community program. This is not, if I am in a community family medicine program and we are unopposed, meaning there's no other residents in our hospital, which is amazing because every single learning opportunity is given to we family medicine residents, and there's only 6 of us per year. So we have so much ability to have experiences that if I was in a giant, oh, I see an answer. Thomas, there's a family medicine residency in Providence Hospital in Anchorage, Alaska. The internet. It's good. Anyway, I bet that program has a bomb family medicine program. That is rural family medicine, hands-on right there. I mean, I have no idea, to be honest. I'm just making statements based on what I imagine Anchorage, Alaska to be like and what I imagine Providence Hospital to be like, but it sounds like that is some awesome hands-on family medicine learning. So what I'm trying to get at here is that when I was making my rank list for family medicine, I interviewed at some really prestigious programs. I interviewed at Brown, at Dartmouth, I interviewed at university programs. I really liked those places. I really did. And actually some of those had community-based programs, which is good. But there were some programs that were academic institutions that you are opposed at, meaning your internal medicine rotation as a family medicine resident is with internal medicine residents. Your OBGYN is completely opposed by OBGYN residents, meaning you're competing for learning opportunities with them. You're competing for deliveries, you're competing with procedures. One of my favorite rotations that I did this year was emergency medicine, and the fact that there was literally not a single other resident or there was, I think, only one medical student even on that whole rotation, meant that I was doing all the suturing, all the INDs, everything that I could possibly do. I was in all the codes, I was doing everything I wanted to do. So what am I getting at here? It's very, very easy to get wrapped up in the prestige of the program, okay? But there's other things that are far more important than this. With respect to what you're planning on doing after residency, it is important that you consider the reputation of the program, but it goes beyond just the name. It goes with what like the curriculum is, which should be another component that you're taking into consideration is, does this program offer the things you want? Does it have rotations in things that you're interested in? Are you a family medicine person that wants to do more OB and this program doesn't have OB? That should be something that you're considering. So at the end of the day, I want you to be really honest with yourself. Do I like this program, or do I really want to like this program because it's Harvard? Or do I really want to like this because it's a university program? I think you'll be happier if at the end of the day you choose a program that you like for the most reasons possible. So what other reasons are there? There are, I would say, hands down, the biggest thing that you need to figure out whether or not you like about a program when you're ranking it is the feel of the program. What does this frickin' mean? Like, everyone's like, the feel. But like, you must know by now. If you've gone on any interviews at all, like, you know what it means to walk into a program and be like, this just feels good. This like feels right. Everybody's like on my level. There's also programs that you walk into where you're like, this feels super awkward, and I wonder if there's a way that I can walk away right now without anybody noticing. That's me trying to get off, walk away. And that has happened to me for sure. And I still ranked that program, by the way. I still ranked it. I'm not going to name names because, come on, some people might have liked that feel. Those awkward people that we talked about at the beginning of the webinar that shouldn't do away rotations, those people might really love the awkward program, and then they meet together and they have a lovely life, and they go on to be amazing doctors and have a great life. Anyway, something for everybody, right? So when I say the feel of the program, did you like the people you met? Did you jive with them? Did you feel like they were open? Did you feel like they had a similar value system to you with respect to medicine? Did you feel like you could hang out with them? Were you irritated by the way their voice sounded? Were you not? Were you like enthralled with the way their voice sounded? Like, and I'm talking about everybody collectively, their voices together as one, like a choir, if you will, metaphorically. I'm really going off track. Believe me, this is the first time I've done a Facebook Live, and I don't think anybody should have given me a platform for this to just talk and say my mind like unopposed like this. But just leave it in the comment section, and we'll worry about it later. Anyway, I think that you have to really kind of see, are these people who I would want to be hanging out with for 80 plus hours a week? That's really, oh, I'm sorry, shh, don't tell ACGME. I mean, less than 80 hours a week on the dot. You will never spend more than 80 hours a week in your residency program. But basically, are these people who you could see yourself hanging out with in difficult times? If this is not a group, if you walk in and you feel unsupported and not really, I don't know, what's the word? If you don't feel warmth in an interview scenario, what's it going to be like when you actually have something, I don't know, really difficult to deal with? Who are you going to go to? How are you going to manage that without people who you like? I think that this is the most important thing, and it's actually something that I pride my program on. And shout out to Mount Carmel Family Medicine Residency, because it is like the feels, we have all the feels. It's so good. And part of that goes with the actual faculty, not just the residents. When you're doing your interviews, were the faculty like extremely inviting and warm, or were they like kind of standoffish or intimidating? Think about that in the scenario where you're having to deal with patient safety. And are you intimidated to approach this attending about some safety issue? Are you intimidated to ask questions? This is not a good learning environment. So you really need to take control of that when you're making your rank list, and take inventory of, was this program, despite it being in the right geographical location and having a prestigious name, could I actually be there for 3+ years, 80 hours a week or more? I don't know. That's a question you have to answer. And I would say it should be really at least number 2 on your list, is the feel of the program. Most people, though, kind of have their top 3 programs based on geographical location, prestige, and curriculum, and then they say which one felt the best. And then they go with that one. And that's okay. For me, geographical location was very, very important, number 1 actually, and then feel came next, because ultimately family medicine, like, I'm gonna get a job no matter where I want to go, because they need us out there, right? They need us. They need everybody, but like, nobody's like, you know, people need their family doctor, believe me. I'm very hard to get into. That's mostly because I just don't have many office hours, but someday I'll be very difficult to get into, I promise. But anyway, so I digress. Let me just wrap up some of this stuff. So we've got all these different things that are extremely important to you. You've got geographical location, the prestige of a program, the field, the curriculum, the faculty, the pay. The pay and those things should not be very huge on your list, because at the end of the day, they're negligible differences. And if you don't have the other things, those things are definitely not going to make up for it. Once you have an idea of what's important to you, I suggest making kind of like a point system for the different programs and coming up with which ones kind of rank higher for you. There's going to be some that are intuitively easier to rank higher than others, but maybe when it comes down to those lower ones that hopefully you get your top matches, but you might get your lower ones, don't forget about ranking those in a good order, because you might get lower on that list and you want to make sure that you really did your best job making this rank list. I know I've been like talking for a half an hour, and I think pretty much that's all I've got here. I think that this is a really exciting time for everybody. Match day, it just gives me palpitations to say the words match day. I just remember being like, and it was so exciting, and it's a good time. It's the best of times, it's the worst of times for some people. But at the end of the day, like, this is the culmination of everything you've done for the past 8 years, at least, if you went through 4 years of undergrad and 4 years of medical school. And if you've done anything else in your life, it's the culmination of all those other things. And this is something to be really proud of. I really thank you guys for listening to me, taking the time. Does anybody else have any burning questions before we kind of wrap this up? I hope you guys enjoyed this kind of half an hour type Facebook Live thing. We're planning on rolling out a bunch of these soon. We find that like people have a lot of different questions. We have a blog that you can see on our website that answers a lot of questions like this, but sometimes it's more fun to see like who's behind the blog. And if you ever read any of mine, now you know the weird character that's behind it and might explain some of the things that you see in it. But anyway, so next, in a couple weeks, we're actually going to be having a Facebook Live by Dr. Fred Bertino. He's one of my favorite people to work with. We do webinars together a lot too. Oh, I see a message from JL. Is there any way to find out which programs didn't fit all their residency positions? Okay, so that is a good question. That is something that is only available to people who do not match. So when you don't match, there's actually like a list that comes out of unfilled programs, and that's the SOAP process. I think that that's kind of its own thing, and if that is something maybe closer to the actual match day, if you're starting to get worried about that, or if you want to know more about the SOAP, maybe we can have a Facebook Live about that or a blog or something. But really that question, is there any way to find out which positions or which programs didn't fill all their residency positions? That's a list that's only available to people who did not match. I'm sure there's shady ways to come by that list, but for the most part, just stay above ground, right? Like this is medicine now. You're in the big leagues. Somebody might have that list, but I don't know. I don't have it myself for anything, and it obviously changes every year. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I know that you probably have a ton of burning questions, and if there's any more, just feel free to say that while I'm wrapping this up. If you have any other questions or you're interested in one-on-one tutoring, again, please contact us at Med School Tutors at hq@medschooltutors.com or call us 212-327-0098. And don't hesitate to ask us any questions at all. Like, we're here for anything. If you want, questions about, or if you have questions about, what is it like living in Ohio? I would love to answer that. It's amazing. It's amazing living in Ohio. So just in case you were wondering. Anyway, I really thank you again for your time. I hope you enjoyed this. And I want to see you guys in the future. Have a wonderful rest of the weekend. Take care, guys.